Kris, we talked to him this morning and discussed what a great season he had, and a lot of his success stems from the power play. A lot of the team's success from the power play. When you see him in that role, kind of hard to believe he could get better. But what do you think of how he handles a spot that has a lot of pressure, but he seems to do it quite calmly?
He does. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on him. He's playing with really good players, and as a younger guy who's kind of getting his feet under him, and he's well past getting his feet under him, but still it can be quite intimidating playing with McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins. There's a lot of guys out there who you're like, I got to get them the puck. You force it, but I think he does a pretty good job of balancing on when to shoot, when to pass, who to be looking for. And a big part of our success with the power play last year, obviously he has a big part of it. You need some shooters. You need a shooting threat. He's probably the biggest threat with his shot, but he also make a nice pass and find those guys.
What were you thinking when you hit the goal post there late in the third period on that power play? On the bench, how'd it look?
He had two really good opportunities that game, and one off the post, and some they go in, some they don't.
When it comes to, there's not a lot of guys that can actually blow a shot past goalies nowadays from the blue line, I guess. Is that, what kind of luxury is that? Because he has that ability.
He does. But you need to have, to blow it by from the point. Very rarely does it ever go in if it's not screened. Usually Zach Hyman's kind of in there, kind of disrupting the goalie, making it hard for him to pick up where that shot's coming from. So, yeah, that's twofold. That's one of having a good, powerful, accurate shot, finding it, being able to get it through, and being hard. But also, you need some presence, and you're not going to score very many goals unless you've got some presence around there. And on the power play, Hyman's pretty good at being around there.
So when you've got Skinner now and Arvidsson, are you looking more like, maybe you would have a second power play unit that doesn't just play 30 seconds or something?
Well, our first unit power play will still be our first unit power play. They've had tremendous success the last 5 years being the best power play. And for us to say that, okay, we're going to go with the second unit and give them more, and take that away from we got to be very careful with that. They are going to get the majority of the time. They are still going to get the starts, and but we do want our second unit to be a little more involved than they were last year, just because we do have some guys adding to our team that will give us a good second unit power play. But I think it's also important for them to have the power play to build their game, because it's been part of their game for such a long time. So Arvidsson, Skinner, those two that we've added, I think it's really important that that's a part of their game also.
How do you think Evan's defensive side of the game evolved last year?
That's what we asked.
Evan Bouchard's defensive side of the game. How did that kind of evolve?
I think the biggest thing about a defender, the best defending that you can do is put yourself in a position not to defend, and that's usually puck play. And Eki and Bush are very good at moving the puck out and not getting into trouble. I think that's the best part of their game, than not having to defend. Now, when they do have to defend, they are still good at that, making reads, finding out what the team wants to do, and breaking up those plays. Eki and Bush defend a little bit differently. I think Bush is a lot more with his stick, trying to read where the play's going to go, break those up. Eki's a little more physical, separating guys from the puck. They're built differently. They're going to defend differently. They think differently. But I think they're both great defenders who don't get enough credit to how good they are at defending.
Any injury updates on anybody today? Anybody get hurt? Anybody?
No, everyone's good. I'm sure. Everyone's good.
Hasn't been on the ice.
He is not, and we most likely won't see him during training camp.
A lingering thing or something that happened last year?
It happened, I'm not sure if it was end of the season or in the summer.
Kris,
Yeah.
sorry, I apologize. Just what can you say about a guy like Noah Philp? Interesting story, Golden Bear, goes to the AHL, takes a step back from the game, comes back here, has a lot of things that a lot of coaches would like in a player. What do you make of all of that?
Yeah, no, there's a lot to like about him, and I didn't know the player at all. I heard before he took his time off that he was trending in the right direction, playing really well, and possibility of playing the National Hockey League one day. And seeing him at camp, there's an opportunity for him in the future. You can always use smart, dependable, two-way players. Just with the way our team is, if we can add some youth and younger legs and physicality, I think that's important for our team. And, I look at the size of him. He's got some size and he skates pretty well. And, I think he thinks very well. But, we haven't seen games. We've only been doing drills. But, for a guy that hasn't played very much hockey lately, I think he's off to a good start.
You never have too many Golden Bears on your team.
You can if you're sacrificing moving McDavid or Draisaitl off the team. You can have too many then.